Hi there, I'm XY. Has life ever made you feel lost or depressed? Me too. And we live in a society. Our culture is built upon this lofty idea of freedom, and yet somehow many of us still feel lost. And a third of us will, statistically, experience depression at some point in our lives. So what does it really mean to be free? Is freedom the ability to do whatever you want, whoever you want, whenever you want? Is it the act of being quirky, individualistic, and not like the other girls? I think the real reason that most people want to feel free is through an ironic need for validation. Like, if I can just show someone else how free I am, then maybe I can be perceived as happy. And if someone else thinks that my life is worthwhile, then maybe I will finally feel wanted. Speaking from personal experience, freedom doesn't necessarily quench the depression that roots in nihilism. In fact, it may inflame the hedonism and choice paralysis that drove me and many of us into the deep end, perceived helplessness. So why then, as a collective unconscious, are we so obsessed with this idea of freedom and ego validation? And does it actually help us feel less shitty about being alive? Like how a farmer would fatten up cattle for the slaughter, our modern culture perpetually force feeds us this idea of what our lives are supposed to look like. Insecurity is a hell of a drug. FOMO is the name of the game. And what the best salesmen in the world actually sell is the idea that you are missing out on life. Our modern culture is nothing without the glorification of the fear of missing out. And chasing the dragon of social media has only made addicts of us all. From productivity to aesthetics maxing to drama, activism, sensory overload has, regrettably, beaten our egos half to death. Our senses of self dwindle on the precipice of extinction under the weight of social expectation. And our attention spans are already halfway into the dirt. When the hedonic treadmill ends in disillusionment, we inevitably return to being ordinary, untalented, unattractive, unproductive. When perfection is the beauty standard, being average is a fate worse than death. The weight of expectation hits like a freight train. We've been made to understand one simple, irrefutable truth: that I will never be good enough. And ironically, with all this freedom, the only thing we're really free to be is inadequate. Hey. Psst. Do you want to know the true secret formula passed down from generations? The way to really get everybody to like you? Are you ready? You can't. That seems depressing, doesn't it? But at some point, you grow up. Why would anyone want to be liked by everyone? A friend to all is a friend to none. If you've ever stood up for anything in your life, you will have ops. And why would you care to take criticism from somebody that you wouldn't even take advice from? Let's face the facts. You don't even like everyone. So why in the heck would you be desperate for everyone else to like you? So then, is true freedom the ability to make yourself independent from the opinions of others? Is it the wisdom to differentiate good and bad? Or perhaps more existentially, to know thyself? At the end of the day, sincerity trumps irony. Being genuine trumps cynicism. As cliche as it sounds, you just have to be real. You have to know yourself and discover yourself, yes. But more importantly, you have to radically accept yourself. Don't struggle against the currents of your own mind, but simply drift alongside the flow of energy in the universe. Don't rush to value judgment. Simply accept what you are. Feel what you feel, and then let it go. I am what I am, and that's all that I am. Contrary to what you might think, your thoughts are not you, and they don't have to define you. Realizing this is the only path to true independence, through self-actualization. As misunderstood as great minds like Freud and Nietzsche have been, they understood that at the end of the day, purpose is the key to happiness. Freud famously said, "Love and work That's all there is. And Nietzsche believed that the systemic decline of God and religion in modern society meant that people needed to start creating their own purpose and value, and that we must all become Ubermensch, his idea of somebody that was truly self-sufficient and mentally independent. Once we learn to accept the absurdity of our shared human condition, contentment becomes inevitable. As my favorite French author once put it, one must imagine Sisyphus happy. As limited mortal beings, nobody really has control over anything. But that does not mean you cannot be happy. Yes, you will get hurt, and you won't always get what you want. Somebody that you like might not like you back, and sometimes you might feel like giving up. But I'm here to tell you that that's literally okay. That's the whole point of having freedom. At the end of the night, you have to like you. But not in a delulu, self-love kind of way. More like self-acknowledgement, respect, and growth. You are the one person who knows you best. After all, you spend every second of every day with yourself, influencing your own thoughts. So when you are happy with you, you'll no longer need to be liked by everyone else, so long as you never give up on you. I'm assuming this isn't your first YouTube video ever, and if it is, I would be mildly concerned. You might be wondering, why make a YouTube channel now? Wouldn't TikTok or OnlyFans or some shit be infinitely more profitable? Most good YouTubers have retired by now, and the rest have either turned into Twitch streamers or predators. So what's the point? The point is, I'm doing this for me. And if there's people like you who are willing to listen to me yap at a camera, then that's just a bonus. Do I know what I'm doing? Absolutely not. Life is like a movie without a director. The best thing I can do is just do right by me and hope the quality turns out better than Game of Thrones Season 8. We're shaped by our perspectives, but that does not make us gods. That's why I stay humble. Because the universe is inherently chaotic and unpredictable. Or maybe I just live in New York City, so it just seems like everything is constantly going to shit. Like the field of philosophy, life resembles visiting an unfamiliar dinner party. You don't really know anybody, and there seems to be some kind of complicated, heated debate going on all the time. So you try to understand bits and pieces. You get a vague idea here and there, and when you're comfortable, you give your input, not really knowing if it impacted the course of the conversation. And then later into the night, you depart. This is all so much bigger than you. It's something that's existed long before you were here. It will endure long after the morning light. Our presence here is but a moment, but we can only hope we've done something good with that moment. I hope you enjoyed my first video. It's a bit of a doozy, I know, but I've always been inspired to make this style of content. I hope you also got something out of this experience, and I would love for this to turn into some kind of variety channel. So let me know down below what you would like to see me talk about or do or not do or whatever in the future. And like and subscribe, or don't, up to you. And yeah, see you next time. Bye.